Well, hello peeps, and today we have kind of an interesting video planned. We're gonna have some just gameplay in the background as eye candy, but the main point today that I want to talk about is what I have realized over kind of a few days of just spamming some MOBAs, spamming some Dota 2. Kind of the differences that I've been feeling playing Dota, playing a MOBA kind of game, right, versus a World of Warcraft. Now I'm probably gonna pop it up on the screen so you can see kind of what we're gonna talk about, and of course we're gonna have timestamps down below. And the first issue that I want to talk about is queue times of all levels. I just think this is a problem that has to be solved. Like right now, your queues on any form of PvP, other than 2 versus 2 arena and maybe, you know, 3 versus 3 arena, it's a queue like 5 to 10 minutes minimally. Like that's a minimal queue. That is absolutely insane and just a huge problem, I think, in all facets of play right now other than arena. Like even BGs, even if I just want to go for a normal ass BG, I can't really do that in a, like, how would you say, a quick manner, right? I have to come into the game, loiter around for like 10 minutes before I'm actually in PvP. Every other PvP game, like, that's worth anything, right, doesn't have this issue, I feel like. Like, you are just instantly in the game. While I was playing some Dota 2, instantly, like, 1 minute queues into ranked games, like, just instantly there. Another 2-3 minutes of like draft picking and you're boom right playing. And even drafting in MOBAs is an important part of the game, so you're like playing right immediately, right? You're 1 minute, boom, into the game, drafting, boom, playing the freaking game. Like you are right into it. This really doesn't hit you as such a big issue until you really go and play some other games, I feel like. Like if you're just a strict WoW player, you're just never gonna notice this. But at the moment you go and play some other games, you're just like, yeah, I get to play constantly in my game session. My game session is not 30% queue times, right, and waiting times. My game session is full of excitement. I actually get tired right after a time because you're like, let's go, you know, how would you say, you're just tired, spent from like gaming like hardcore. But like in WoW, it's just with like the breaks in the solo brackets, right, you're just gonna kind of fall asleep, right? You're not even ready for the next match. So I think it's just a huge issue that they need to solve when it comes to queue times. Just it needs to be solved. I don't care how it's solved. I don't care if its healers are freaking removed from the game, nuked out of the game. Like, fuck healers. People are always, it's because of lack of healers. Okay, remove healers from the game. It's fine if it's always the same freaking problem. Let's remove the freaking issue. Like, I'm at this point, don't even care what they do. They just need to solve. Like, must be solved. It is not like, oh, this issue is what prevents it from being solved. No, it has to be solved, or I just feel like the PvP side of the game is always gonna be scuffed. Like this is always gonna make people less inclined to prefer something like World of Warcraft PvP over something like Dota or even Counter-Strike, etc. But before I let you get on with the video, I do have to inform you that only 4.3% of you are subscribed. So if you can be enjoying the content, please consider smashing that subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell. It would be very nice if we could hit 2K before the war within starts. Another part where I think WoW PvP kind of misses the mark is emotionally, and I think this one is the hardest for me to explain because in WoW arenas especially, still I get that kind of like adrenaline feeling. I get my arms start to shake, right, from like over kind of stimulation. Your blood, heart rate starts going up, your blood pressure starts going up. Like I still get that, but there's just something emotionally that is missing. And we'll talk about that a little bit later because I think WoW has kind of a mode problem, but the emotional part, I really feel like it's hard to explain. I think might have to do with just the amount of time that PvP lasts in something like a MOBA, right? Especially like Dota 2 is very long lasting. Matches are like 30 to 40 minutes. So it might be that you're just under the pressure, under the anvil, right? If you're gonna say it like that, you're just being pounded more, right? But it's just a whole different roller coaster of emotions, like in a MOBA game. Like you're just feeling so many different emotions. You're feeling some very negative emotions, you're getting very angry, and for me it's been like almost kind of refreshing, man, like to just be a little bit toxic again, to be a little bit of that, as I would say, old me, where just I unleashed myself onto my team to show them that they need to play good with me when they're playing with me. It just, I can't explain, like just a whole roller coaster of emotions and feelings that you feel when you're playing a MOBA that you just don't get from World of Warcraft PvP. Like even in BGs you don't get it. In Arena I get like the blood pumping, I get the adrenaline, I get the blood pressure spike, I get like the overstimulation, right? I just don't feel like it hits the mark as much as something like a MOBA does. It just can't. I just feel like it's I don't know if ultimately, I don't know if it's time, if it's just time thing. Like You're not playing an arena for 30 minutes, like, no, like, how would you say, a high-octane arena match of 30 minutes, like, that doesn't exist, right? So it might be something just along those lines that might not be, like, a completely whole issue, I'll admit that. To be perfectly honest, I really think it's not just a time thing. I really think it has to do with WoW having a mode problem. And this is a video that I've been baiting it here on the channel for, I think, for like 4 months, but I just never got to making it because it's, I feel like, a very hard video to make without kind of insulting or getting a part of the community kind of against you, and I don't want to do that for no reason, how would you say. So I was trying to make very sure that how I'm gonna word some stuff. Ultimately, I just feel like WoW just has a mode problem, and it's not like the only game. I think Chivalry 2 is just a perfect example of a game that has a very great mechanics, very great how people interact with each other and play against each other, but because the game relies basically on duels and on like an invasion, however you want to call it, the mode, right, of like 40v40, 64 versus 64, right, it just ends up being kind of a mess in some ways. The big modes don't really allow you to kind of really be impactful as much with your skill as you would think, and the dual modes really have kind of a limitation to how much they can keep people as kind of with all games. I feel like every game that relies on like a simple 1v1, even fighting games are never gonna be like as popular as something like League, right? It's just not happening, I think. Ultimately, I feel like WoW has this exact same issue where it just doesn't have the modes. Like, WoW has great PvP interaction. It has a great mechanic of how characters interact with each other. Sure, balance can be problematic, but let's not talk about those things. And some design can be a problem. Let's not talk about those things. But truly has a great PvP interaction. But we just don't have a place for that interaction to take, for us to really enjoy that interaction, really. Like, Arena, I feel like, is just not a real mode. Arena is just a duel, an extended duel with, you know, a duel with a homie, like a duel with two homies, right? It's a duel. Like, Arena is a duel. With just how would you say, with just a designated map, but it's a freaking duel. Like, it's not a mode. Battlegrounds are the most bare of modes. Like, it is the mode that every freaking game has. Like, it has some kind of a domination, capture the flag. Like, it is the most bare bones of modes. So I just feel like WoW has this huge mode problem. Even though it has a great interaction, great mechanics, it just doesn't have a place where that interaction can take place, right? Like, and be as enjoyable as something as freaking League or Dota. And think about freaking League and Dota. This is like 30-year-old, 40-year-old mechanics, bro. These mechanics come from freaking Warcraft. Like, the way you play the game. Yet, these things are so fun even to this day. It's just because they found a way to use the mechanics of Warcraft and where to put them and how to make those mechanics extremely fun. And I feel like WoW needs to do that. WoW needs to find a place where the mechanics of WoW are gonna be extremely fun. And I don't think it's Arena. I don't think it's Arena. Every game, to me at least, and this might be a very personal opinion, but I feel like every game that relies on Arena as its like main mode has just not survived. He has not thrived, he has not gotten bigger or anything like that. There needs to be more skills, I feel like, to the game other than just how you control your character. Right, that's just mechanics. That's just simply mechanics, or micro, as they would call it, right? Like, that's a part of the game. But you have a whole another part of the game, macro, that is completely missing in World of Warcraft. There is no macro in World of Warcraft, right? Like, there is no big overarching play thing that you're gonna be doing or thinking about, right? It's all about the micro interaction, and it's all about the micro. It's like Arena in League of Legends, actually, like, where it's just about you playing your characters against your characters, right? But that's a freaking supplementary mode, for just for fun. Now, I hope I was able to convey my feelings properly, because every time I'm unscripted, it is a little bit suspicious. I just want to make sure that people don't think that I'm just like hating on the modes in WoW that we have already. It's not like they are the problem specifically. The real problem is developers not developing the game, right? I just feel like that really is the real issue. I feel like we in PvP are just years under development, just years backed up, like, where they are owing us so many different things that it's so hard for us to even get it in the next few expansions, I feel like, because they would just need to have to do an expansion of PvP specific, I think, stuff for us to really be in that spot where PvP deserves to be. Just the spot where PvP deserves to be at. Like, it's kind of insane to me how how just forgotten PvP is by the developers. But overall, I just think PvP is just kind of a side dish that they are like, okay, we've handled the PvP peeps, like, with some changes and whatnot. Okay, they're gonna be quiet for an entire expansion. Okay, we are giving them like a mode, but that mode might be broken, the queues might be broken. it's gonna keep them quiet for like an entire expansion, and we can give them something the next expansion. Like we are just getting such breadcrumbs in like 2-3 year intervals, and then we also had years where we didn't get even the breadcrumbs, so we are like backed up even with the breadcrumbs. It's really kind of a joke. But anyways, peeps, that's about it. I hope you've enjoyed this little video. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things YouTubers want you to do, and have a nice day.